I am honored to introduce to you Stephen Pollitt, the author of Heal-Thyself. Stephen is an educator, avid researcher, founder of Source Energy Research, and the creator of Source Energy Medicine. In part one of this video, Stephen is going to talk about the history and events that led to the development of Source Energy Medicine and the writing of Heal-Thyself. In part two, Stephen will discuss how this is a revolution unlike any before. Enjoy this leading-edge technology and information.
The story, the background, and the events that actually lead to the information and technology that I incorporated in my book, Heal-Thyself and Source Energy Medicine. It's a story most people say is well worth telling. It all began about 1995. I was living and working in New York City. I owned a highly successful business, and yet my life was way out of balance, way out of control. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week. I drank excessively. I ate poorly. I had a variety of health concerns. My distance vision was failing. I had the onset of osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. My digestion and elimination was terrible. My sleep was horrible. I was about 40 pounds overweight. And I medicated myself basically with alcohol, caffeine. I smoked 3 to 4 cigars a day. My father had been slowly degenerating as the result of several strokes that he suffered about 7 years prior, leaving him with a pretty strong mental deficit and left side paralysis. My mother was also seriously ill, except she hid it from the rest of the family. No one knew what was going on. From the time we realized that my mother was terminally ill with cancer until she died was simply a matter of weeks. My father died 2 days later. Needless to say, this was about the most traumatic experience I've ever lived. And yet it was also a very pivotal period. It was a time of reassessment. It was a time I really reflected on my life, and also a time of great change, great awakening. As the youngest of 4 children, I simply looked at the poor health of my older siblings and the events that led to ultimately my parents' death at a relatively young age. I can clearly remember consciously making a decision to not buy into the predeterministic vision that my genes had in store for me. I made a decision to take charge of my life. My first step was to study nutrition formally. A big part of the curriculum at the school I studied at was teaching students how to counsel clients. I found this work so rewarding, in fact, that I closed my business and opened a nutrition practice. The first year, my practice was fantastic. I only worked with clients that I knew I could help, clients that would be easy, not clients who had serious health concerns or serious life threats. It enabled me to build confidence and acquire a certain level of ability. But as I did that, my clients also became more and more challenging, and that essentially forced me to study other avenues of holistic health, to simply have a wider variety of tools and resources to assist my clients to achieve all of their goals. Within all of these additional methodologies, they actually went further than what we could reach with food or supplements. I began traveling constantly, got very excited, and attended workshops and seminars throughout the country, and I gathered a lot of great effective tools. And yet there were still gaps, still challenges, and several shortcomings within every methodology. I had a lot of questions and a really high level of expectation. I was not comfortable with healing taking several years to achieve full positive results, and at a cost of several $1,000s a year. The other thing that really bothered me was I really couldn't understand why some people would completely heal from a serious health concern only to have that exact same health concern return or a closely related issue, and it would usually return within a year or two. So I continued to ask really big questions, and I continued to search for new methods that would provide the answers to all my questions. I really wanted something, a system, something that would be accessible and affordable for everyone, one that would provide faster results, and most importantly to me was a system that would be more effective and provide more positive long-term results. I was deeply longing for a method that was simple, something elegant, something that was logical, and was really easy to fully master. I ultimately was divinely inspired and presented with the answers to all of my questions. Only the answers did not come from a healing method that I went to study or something I read about. I was actually provided with the answers to my questions in such a way it became the structure and the foundation for what we now call Source Energy Medicine. A lot of people ask how Heal Thyself and Source Energy Medicine can help them to achieve an abundance of all things good, vibrant health, tremendous financial wealth, fulfilling, rewarding work, and ideal relationships. And the answer is really far more simple than you might think. Heal Thyself explains disease or any area of lack from a perspective of matter and physics, kind of like some of the information discussed in the popular film What the Bleep Do We Know? Physics is the study of all physical matter. When physicists break down physical matter into smaller and smaller pieces, they ultimately get to the point where there's nothing left but energy. This energy is arranged differently in a blade of grass than it would be in a tree, for example. And one of the fascinating things is this energy has a certain particular vibrational energy pattern or vibrational energy signature that's unique to that. Go one step further, we can actually calibrate all of this energy. And a lot of people, once I start talking about calibrations, it's not something they've heard of before, so they want to know more about it. I referenced the work of Dr. David Hawkins. He uses a precise kinesiological testing method that he's developed over the past 35 years or so, and uses a scale of 0 to 1,000 to calibrate basically anything. On this 0 to 1,000 scale, 200 is the dividing line from something that would be helpful or beneficial from something that would not be. So essentially anything that calibrates above 200 would be good, supportive, or helpful, and anything that calibrates below 200 would not. So let's take it one step further. Metaphysics is the study of all physical matter and actually how it relates to you and me in our daily lives. It helps to explain what we experience. And it's critical to fully understand the importance and significance of a natural law of physics known as the law of attraction. Basically stated, like attracts like, and it's the common theme with the film The Secret. So now let's tie everything together. So if we take this 0 to 1,000 scale and calibrate an individual, not a blade of grass or a tree, but this individual's overall energy level would, the number would indicate actually what kind of experiences that person would manifest, what kind of experiences that person would attract into their daily lives. The law of attraction is always at play. You know, what do you think your life would be like if you calibrated at a weakening level below 200 versus above 200? It's really quite simple. At calibrations above 200, we'll attract and manifest good things. At calibrations below 200, we can't. A lot of people also want to know about the person who's good at co-creating things in certain areas or aspects of their life and not in others. Again, I offer a really simple answer. We have many different aspects to our being. A lot of different aspects. We could break down our being into a number of different aspects. Each of those aspects, like mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and subtle, can also be broken down into further areas like health, relationships, finances, and creative expression. The energy level or calibration of each of these will determine what is attracted and therefore experienced within each of those aspects. For me, this helps to explain the current situation that we live in the world. It helps to explain why we have various epidemics, why we're experiencing unprecedented weather patterns and things like that. It also helps to explain why good things happen to bad people, and why some people are able to achieve greatness in every aspect of their lives. Until now, those people who are able to manifest greatness in every aspect of their lives are few and far between. This theory can actually be applied to every situation and every aspect of life. There are no accidents. It's all the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is always at work. It simply works within each and every aspect of these various energy levels. This is universal law, and this is actually where it starts to get pretty interesting.